Hi, welcome everyone to our new video. In this video, we are going to discuss about preventing the DDoS attack using AWS WAF rule. And this video is more towards the practical implementation. So you can see the AWS dashboard on my screen where we are going to see how we can create this rule-based web ACL for preventing the DDoS attack. So this is the agenda for this video. So once you have logged into your AWS console, go into the WAF. You will get the WAF and shield. So this is basically to protect against the DDoS attacks. You can go inside the WAF. Now I'm just going to explain you how you can implement this in your real environment through the AWS console. Now, if you look at the web ACLs, this is what we are talking about in this in the part 1 and part 2 that you can implement the web ACL. So you can click on create web ACL. Now, once you click on create web ACL, it will ask you to create the web ACL and on the basis of the CloudWatch metrics. So what we can say is like we want to implement the rate homepage -URI. This is what we are putting as the name, or you can have already the prod based rules. So you might want to use them inside your group where you are going to implement this ACLs. Now, in the description, we can just leave it optional. Now it says rate underscore homepage URI. Okay, so this is what we wanted to implement. Now, there are two options here. You might say rate homepage or rate no homepage -URI. So depending upon whether you are going to put it on the homepage or you are not going to put it on the homepage. So depending upon that, you can actually select whether you want the name on the homepage URI or you want the metrics. It automatically select the metrics on the basis of the URI. Okay, so you can do it for both homepage because there are multiple APIs as well which you wanted to secure from the DDoS attack. So you can do, or the path-based routing that we have, you can follow for that as well. It really depends how you wanted to take it. Okay, now after this, you can it will ask you to select like the resource type that you want to go with. So we can leave it default that we want the regional resources on which this would be applicable. So you can also apply it onto the CloudFront distributions. And if you select the CloudFront distribution, it will ask you for the distribution specific properties. But here we are going to go with the region based. So I will just go back and I'm going to select the rate homepage URI. So once you have done this, you can add the AWS resources if you want. You can select the API gateway, API load balancer, app sync. These are majorly the requests where the request normally lands for your application. So you can add these rules to any of these, even included the CloudFront distribution. So depending upon where you want to implement, you can select the appropriate resource. And then you can click on next. Now next here, it's going to ask you to add the rules. So you must be having the rules specific to your prod, specific to your stage environment. So depending upon that, you can manage the rule group. I can say add manage rule group, or it says my own rule group. So I will say add manage rule group here. So if I say manage rule group, it shows me the AWS, what AWS supports and provides you. You can directly implement them. AWS has a large number of rules. You can provide the bot control, and a lot of rules are there which you can directly use. So you can use them, or you can say add my own rules. If you are going to add your own rules, it's going to ask you the name. Now this is where we are right now building. Now we can say that we are going to build the rule group. if we say the rule group, it asks us the name of the uh, uh, rule group that we want to call. So you can add here something like prod rate rules hyphen v1. Okay, and then it's going to ask you the rule group in which you want to add. So right now we are not having this. So I will just select the rule builder for now, because we are going to create the rule. So I can say here prod base prod rate rules v1. Okay, then it's you can go ahead and select the rate based rule. Now, once you select the rate based rule, it asks you on what rate limit you want to set up. So we can select something like suppose 2000, or we can you can select an appropriate value here, depending upon like how much requests you want it to check for a single IP, which is allowed over a period of 5 minutes. It basically checks over the 30 seconds. And then if too many requests, if the request count breaches the number of requests to your server for like 2000, then we can say that, yeah, if more than 2000 requests are received for our server, then go ahead and block that IP. This is what, if you want to get more details on how it blocks and how it looks over the architecture wise, then I would suggest you to go through our previous video in which we have, that is the part 2, in which we have discussed this in more detail along with the architecture diagram, how it basically gets implemented. So here we are saying that 2000, if it breaches the 2000 request, go ahead and block it. Next, it asks you how much IP address do you want to use for the rate limiting. Now I told you that we can use the source IP address, or we can use the IP address from the header as well. Now, if you select the source IP address from the header, it's going to ask you like which header you want to use. So you can go ahead and do the source IP address for now. X forwarded can also be used, but it depends upon how you wanted to. So in our case, we are going to go ahead with the source IP address, and that basically does the work for us. Next, it's ask you how you want to, if you want to consider all the requests, or you only want to consider the request which matches a certain criteria. So if you can select the certain criteria. The way it works is like it's going to match the multiple values for the request. If those if that is a request match, then it basically checks on those. So this basically helps you to narrow down if your website receives too much traffic, because then ahead we don't want we have to, if you narrow it down, it's more optimized. Think of this like a huge chunk of traffic is coming, and then AWS infrastructure in the back end has to go through it. Now, if you can be more specific, that would be better for you. But if you don't know about this, then go ahead and put it on all requests. You can go ahead for that as well, but that is going to require some processing on the AWS side. So that is one of the thing that you might want to consider. So we are going to go ahead and match a criteria. Now it says when you, how you want to do it. So we can go ahead and we can say matches the statement, and we can actually use it says about the statement. You can match the statement, match all the statement, match at least one, or doesn't match the statement. So you can do on the basis of that, and you can in the inspect you need to select the URI path. So we are going to keep that at match the statement, and we are going to say the URI path. Now within the URI path, we might want to put regex. Now there are multiple ways of matching the string, right? So we can say it contains, it starts, or it matches a regex. So we are going to match a regex pattern here, and we can select the match regex pattern, and then you can go ahead and put a regex pattern. Now in our case, we are putting a regex pattern as you can select the regex pattern according to your own requirement, and regular expression, not rich expression, to match. Okay, want it to match, and this basically start as a line. It matches this double slash. This is basically the scale. Dot is basically matches to any character except it matches to the previous token between back as needed. So this we have put. So if it matches to anyone, that and go ahead and match all the requests, something like that, because we are not doing it for them. So like that, we have, depending upon your requirement on how you in the action, we are just going to keep it as we want it to count, to eventually block it for temporary, and an excellent way. Now you can. So this because I'm not having kind of rules into your direct front-end traffic like your load balance. Those are basically the routed to our application. So if you managing the WAF is managed by the AWS, and how it's going to check or the throughput, all these things are basically taken by the AWS. This is the advantage of having the like the public cloud. It basically solves the issue on like you don't have to create all the solutions yourself. So this is an excellent solution for preventing the DDoS attacks, and it is going to reduce the vector because now none of the servers would be able to breach the limit of 2000 which I have put, and my web servers which runs on multiple ports inside the EKS, then it's going to scale out, and it would be able to serve those requests. This is what according to my configuration. Okay, and you can optimize it. You can go through. There are large number of the combinations which can be created here, and you can sync and add these rules. This will help you prevent the DDoS attacks, whether you are any of the businesses out there. All of them basically face this issue. This is the very common kind of attack. So that's all for this video. Thanks everyone for watching this. If you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Thank you everyone. See you in next video.